It's game 1 of the 2023 season and the Rice Owls are coming to DKR. How does the addition of JT Daniels at quarterback improve their team? Which players do we need to look out for? And most importantly, can Texas dominate in a matchup where they hold all of the cards? After the show, Inside Texas is the spot to stay up to date on your favorite football team. Intelligent pre- and post-game analysis, constant recruiting updates, and behind-the-scenes info dropping daily. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today. Link in the description. I'm not going to sit here and act like this will be a close matchup. Texas's talent should overwhelm Rice, but let's take this talented team on paper and see it brought to life on the field. Without further ado, let's get into it. Rice is led by 6-year head coach Mike Bloomgren. He's from the David Shaw Intellectual Brutality tree out of Stanford. Intellectual Brutality is a pro-style offense with diverse personnel groupings and formations. It's wild to see a team run the I formation at midfield one play and the next play they're an empty. At their core, they want to run the ball and control the game, but they have seen a pretty even split in the run and the pass in recent years. They like to give their quarterback a lot of control at the line of scrimmage. The original offense wanted to lean on the mental abilities of Stanford's athletes as an advantage. Rice, also being a prestigious university with generally smarter athletes, hired Mike Bloomgren to install this philosophy. But it's not really working. Stanford has access to Power 5 recruits and Rice doesn't. Bloomgren is 16-39 overall, never winning over 5 games in 5 years. Rice did make a bowl last season, but they are one of those rare examples of a 5-win team getting in simply because lower tier bowls need to field a game. And this resulted in a loss in the Lending Tree Bowl to end the season last year. They've had a revolving door of quarterback play, making it hard to maximize the flexibility of the offense at the line of scrimmage. But this year they made an interesting move in the portal. JT Daniels, now in his 6th year and his 4th school, is taking the helm at quarterback. So far, Daniels' story has been a tragic one. He had his first full year of being healthy at West Virginia last year, and still ended up on the bench to end the season. Coming out of high school, he was lauded as a whiz kid, able to see the field, check protections, and get into the right play. And that's a schematic match for what Rice is looking for, in theory. And JT Daniels' whole career thus far is an exercise in theory because it hasn't really translated to on-the-field success. Daniels' waning NFL upside with his arm ability, particularly ball placement, continues to fade over the years of injury and inconsistency. Switching offenses, teams, constantly battling injuries have all taken their toll. In the Big 12 last year, Daniels ranked 8th of 13 quarterbacks. He's second to last in yards per attempt at only 6.2. So he was mostly running shorter concepts instead of progressing through the deep field reads. 13 touchdowns to 9 interceptions isn't a good ratio, even though some of those picks were on his receivers. They had a habit of tipping the ball to DBs. He's bottom half in big-time throw percentage, only landing the NFL caliber throw on 3.2% of his passes. But he's bottom half in turnover-worthy plays as well, so he's not needlessly putting the ball in danger an excessive amount either. And like I said, his wide receivers didn't really help him, dropping almost 10% of his passes for the 3rd highest in the league. That West Virginia offense works better with a runner at quarterback, and Daniels is a pocket passer, so it was tough sledding once again for Daniels. That pocket passing led to the 4th highest pressure to sack rate in the league as well. Daniels is frustrating to watch because there's plays where you go, wow, that's an NFL arm, but it's too far and few in between, especially for someone who was lauded as being hyper-intellectual at the position. What we do know is Rice hasn't had this caliber of passer around, and it unlocks a lot more of their intended game plan, especially for conference play when they aren't facing Power 5 talent. But Daniel needs some weapons to actually maximize his arm. The one consistent piece is that slot receiver in Luke McCaffrey. He's a former quarterback and the younger brother of Christian McCaffrey. He led the team with 88 targets, catching 66% of those for 58 receptions, securing 6 touchdowns. His former quarterback background really helps him understand where to be, and it also helps his quarterback. Like a true slot, he's utilized most in the short game below 10 yards, where 53% of his targets came from. But Rice will absolutely utilize him in the intermediate or long game when they get into their drop back pass. Look for JT Daniels and McCaffrey to link up on crucial plays due to McCaffrey's reliability. Rice lost a huge piece of their deep passing game when wide receiver Bradley Rosner transferred out to NC State. 30% of his targets were for 20 yards plus, racking up 7 touchdowns. If added to the Big 12, Rosner is the best deep receiver, but he left unexpectedly, throwing the room in flux. To try to solve this loss of production, Rice brought in UCLA grad transfer Matt Sykes to play that role. He has that traditional outside receiver build, standing at 6'4", 215 pounds. He did see field time at UCLA, getting in on 495 plays through his 3 years there, but he only pulled in 10 receptions for 1 touchdown in 3 seasons. The Hawaii product doesn't have much tape, but expect him to take that deep threat role in the offense and be the main target on the go ball, looking to moss the corner and man. Then we have the second most targeted receiving threat in the 6'5", 255-pound tight end Jack Bradley. The fifth-year tight end was targeted 40 times, pulling in 29 catches, averaging 9.1 yards per reception. He can use that large frame to box out second-level defenders and secure that third down catch. He's mostly inline, but he can be moved to the slot about 25% of the time. A new name on campus to watch out for on the outside is freshman Landon Ransom, a smaller receiver at 6 foot, 173 pounds, but a player the Rice coaches have mentioned for his explosive ability. In high school last year, he was utilized all over the field due to that quickness, whether it was getting yards after the catch on a screen, on quick throws, or going deep. And finally, when the offense goes into their 4 wide receiver look, watch for 4th-year player Kobe Campbell to be the second slot receiver. He's more of that speed slot at only 5'7", 164 pounds, running an 11.2 100 meter in high school. He pulled in 17 catches for 192 yards last season. 60% of the time, he's getting targeted short or behind the line, and then he uses his speed to gain ground. The Rice passing game was decent last year, ranking 58th in passing yards per attempt nationally. They were 75th in pass attempts per game at 31, but that's because they focus more on ball control, so they have a low number of plays overall per game. But even with the new faces in the starting rotation, the addition of JT Daniels should increase the likelihood of leaning more on the pass game, if his pass protection can actually hold up, which isn't looking great. They were 101st in the nation in sack rate last year. They do return both tackles, but the interior has been in transition due to moving guys around and some camp injuries that are healing up. In pass protection, if added to the Big 12, starting left tackle Clay Servin ranks 39th of 50 pass blocking linemen. Starting center Braden Nutter ranks 46th. Starting right tackle Ethan Oninawa ranks 47th, and he gave up an insane 8 sacks last year. And likely starting right guard John Long ranks second to last at 49th of 50 pass blocking linemen. That's almost your entire starting group ranking in the bottom 10 if added to the Big 12. They're going to need to lean on getting the ball out fast or stay in heavy personnel to increase the amount of double teams on the Texas pass rush. And the run game isn't much better. Even though the Rice offense likes to utilize heavy sets and preaches a run-the-ball philosophy, they weren't good at it last year, ranking 79th in the country, averaging just 3.9 yards per attempt, with their offensive line averaging 2.68 line yards per carry, for 73rd in the nation. So once again, the offensive line doesn't shine. In the run, right tackle Ethan Oninawa is 42nd, left tackle Clay Servin is 45th, and right guard John Long is 46th out of 48 Big 12 run blockers. The Rice center and left guard don't meet the minimum snap requirements to be graded. Not a productive group last season. On top of that, they lost their top running back in Cameron Montgomery, who averaged an impressive 6 yards per attempt. As the season begins, the Owls are still sorting out their running back rotation. First, let's take a look at Dean Connors. He only had 28 attempts last season, but is said to be progressing in camp. He's quick, and that shiftiness should add some explosivity if the gap is timed right. But in the heavy power run offense, he's going to have to wait for blockers often, limiting some of that initial burst. He did all right, averaging 4.6 yards per carry after coming to Rice last season from a JUCO. So there's still upside there and a back to look for in the Rice offense. Then you have their most productive returning back in Juma Otoviano. Even though he had only 71 attempts, he did average 5.7 yards per carry, ranking 4th if added to the Big 12. The redshirt senior out of Arlington Martin is a smaller back at 5'10", 203 pounds, but he's been effective, and with his added seniority, he's going to be valuable come conference play. Rounding out the rotation is another redshirt senior and Ari Broussard, standing at 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's the largest of the backs by far, and he had an impressive 9 touchdowns last season. But that stat is deceiving because he was mostly used to punch it in on the goal line, padding those touchdown numbers. If added to the Big 12, he's actually the worst back in the league, posting a measly 2.7 yards per attempt. But expect to see him jog out if Rice gets to the goal line or in a short yardage situation. And then, of course, in this type of offense, they actually have a real fullback, so look out for Micah Barnett to be out there clearing the way and doing the Lord's work. And also, I want to give a big thank you to the Roost for helping me sort through some of the starting lineup in the preseason. If you're a Rice fan, go check them out, www.atheroost.com. Overall, the Texas defense has the advantage. Big surprise, I know. I think the real value here is the amount of personnel groupings and the varied run game we could see. Defensive line and linebackers will get some real reps to practice staying disciplined and not getting out of position, something that'll be crucial versus Alabama in Week 2. Pass rush wise, the Texas line should win these matchups consistently and make Daniels pay for holding on to the ball too long. If the pass rush is struggling to get home in the drop pack passing game against Rice, this would be a red flag for me for our future opponents. Coverage will get to face a former Power 5 quarterback that's new to the system but not new to college football. So if his receivers get to their spots, there should be some value there as well, reps-wise, for the secondary. I imagine the passing concepts would be quick, so it'll be a chance for the Texas coverage to limit those short completions we had a tendency to give up over the middle. Third down, they're going to throw that quick inside slant or stick route. So like Sark said in the offseason, we need to contest those consistently. It's a lower tier offense, averaging 5.3 yards per play for 72nd in the nation with talent limitations due to their school size and conference. So the key here is to make sure everyone is doing their job. You don't want explosive plays. The Texas defense should hold them to very few points. Anything over 10, and I'm going to be uneasy headed into the Alabama game. Now, let's look at the other side of the ball. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their Prize Pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer, and you will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's double your money up to $100 for your first time. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Link in the description. The Rice defense had a rough year last year. Fifth-year defensive coordinator Brian Smith is running a base 3-4 defense, but it's flexible. 2 true interior guys, 1 true defensive end, 2 inside linebackers, and 2 outside linebacker types. One of those outside linebackers is called the rush backer, and he's that defensive line/linebacker hybrid used to generate a pass rush. The other is more of a safety/linebacker hybrid they can use in coverage, which they call the Viper. Really, it's just a nickel and play style. But regardless of scheme, they didn't get the job done in 2022, ranking 123rd in the nation for opponent yards per play, giving up 6.5 yards per play overall. Not good. The worst of it came from their run defense. Rice got ran over, giving up 5.4 yards per rush attempt, ranking 123rd out of 131 FBS teams. And they also got worse as the season went on, giving up an insane 8.1 yards per carry in their final 3 games, the worst in the country. In the interior rotation, if added to the Big 12, DeBraylon Carroll was their best run stopper, ranking 9th of 29 interior run stoppers. The other interior guys, Blake Banish and Isaiah Floyd, ranked 22nd and 23rd out of 29. Blake Banish is strong as hell though, squatting 670 pounds, and he's a power lifter. And Rice is also excited about him. Out on the edge, their rush position linebacker Josh Piercy ranks 12th of 26 edge run defenders. Not bad, but not great. And their true defensive end for the season, Coleman Coco, transferred in from Colgate, so we still have to see how he performs. Their true interior linebackers, Will Myron Morrison, did well, ranked 7th, but their Mike Chris Conti struggled, ranking 17th of 20 backers at stopping the run. The secondary had the biggest struggles. In the projected starting group, corner Jordan Dunbar was 42nd, strong safety Marcus Williams was 46th, corner Sean Fresh was 49th, and free safety Gabe Taylor was 55th out of 57 total run-stopping DBs. They don't have a single projected starter in the top 40 stopping the run in the secondary. Look for a new starter and play Wyatt to take over that Viper role. He doesn't meet the minimum required snaps to accurately grade him with only 29 run defense snaps last season. The unit struggles to not get moved off their spot, and the secondary is missing tackles when dudes are coming at them untouched. If this doesn't improve this season, it's going to be another long year. Now, in the pass game, can they generate pressure with their ability to blitz guys from unique angles? Not really. They were tied for 87th in the nation in sacks last year. On the interior, Isaiah Floyd is the best pass rusher, ranked 9th out of 27 players if added to the Big 12. The remaining interior guys are bottom half. They lost their top edge last season to the NFL as an undrafted free agent. Their pass rush focused outside linebacker Josh Piercy is ranked 13th of 29 edges, but he did land an impressive 8 sacks last season, so keep an eye on him on passing downs. Hopefully he can make up for some of the production they lost. Middle linebacker Chris Conti logged a good amount of hurries at 14, but overall he's 8th of 15 pass rushing interior linebackers. The secondary didn't get sent often enough to meet the minimum pass rush requirements, so expect them to be dropping back opposed to a lot of corner or nickel blitzes. Okay, so the run defense was really bad. Pass rush is well below average. Can they at least cover? And once again, no. Rice gave up 8.1 yards per pass attempt, ranking 111th in the nation last season. They only have 2 proven capable coverage guys. On the second level, will linebacker Myron Morrison ranks 1st if added to the Big 12 coverage linebackers from the 22 season. In the secondary, free safety Gabe Taylor, son of NFL free safety Sean Taylor, is solid, ranked 3rd of 61 Big 12 coverage defenders. He's an important player for them, and he made the jump from strong safety to free safety this season. But after him, there's a drop-off. Corner Jordan Dunbar is 33rd. New starting strong safety Marcus Williams is 46th, and corner Sean Fresh is 55th. But the corner duo did land 7 interceptions between the two of them last season. Their new safety / outside linebacker / nickel Viper position played by Play Wyatt would rank 44th. But he's moving down from safety, so more reps at his new position should help him out throughout the course of the year. Though there's some new starters in the secondary, all of them are third-year players, so they do have some experience in a college system. The Texas offense holds the large advantage once again. Texas's receiver room is one of the best in the nation on paper. Stick to your base passing concepts so Bama doesn't see the tricks of the trade, and make sure we execute. This is an opportunity to connect on the deep balls we struggled with last year, a chance to really spread the ball around, which we didn't do last year, and a chance to make Quinn execute efficiently up and down the field. Offensive line needs to get their reps going against a real opponent, and I want to see the interior offensive line get vertical push on inside zone and execute their assignments in the pass. The Texas running back room is still trying to find itself after losing 2 NFL backs. It's a good opportunity to cycle the running backs to see who shows up in a game setting, while not putting too heavy of a load on any single guy. The reality of it is, Texas is a 35-point favorite in Vegas. This team should cover that, and I'm hoping to see them look sharp early on. Make the plays that are available and don't stub your toe. Get our 2s and 3s reps in the second half and avoid injury. That's the real key to games like this. And ultimately, the big question is, can Texas demonstrate a killer instinct versus a lower tier G5? We'll see this Saturday when the Rice Owls come to DKR. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.